My name's Meerah Powell. My pronouns are she, her. I'm working at KEXP in Seattle. I graduated from U of O in 2017, and I was in the Emerald for most of my years at U of O. And yeah,
Yeah,
love the Emerald. It's the best.
absolutely. Do you remember like back in the beginning before you joined the Emerald, do you remember what initially sparked your interest in joining the Emerald, or maybe what sparked your interest in journalism initially?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it kind of circles back to where I'm working now, at this music station, but I was really interested in music journalism. And I spent a lot of my time as a teenager and into college, like going to local shows and even like larger concerts and things like that. I think I initially started with just like concert reviews and was kind of looking for an outlet to do that, rather than just like, I think as a teenager, I had like a WordPress blog or something,
Yeah.
or like a Tumblr, something of the times. But I was kind of just looking for an outlet to do that, which is what drew me to the Emerald. So yeah, I started doing music reviews and just working on the arts and culture desk there. And I also got into concert photography, and yeah, did a lot of stuff with arts and culture at the Emerald.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you were at the Emerald between 2015 and 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And within that time took on roles not just on the arts and culture desk, but also you became the digital managing editor as well. So is there anything that sticks out to you from your time at the Emerald that you feel really prepared you for your professional career?
Oh yeah, I think I like without a doubt I would not be where I am right now without the Emerald. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like the J school obviously was a wonderful like preparation, in that the classes that I was taking were really, really awesome, and the professors were wonderful and everything, and just being able to be in those spaces with other great like colleagues and students that I'm still really good friends with today. But like I think that the Emerald gave me the real world preparation of actually being able to get out in the community and interview people and produce stories, and see them in print, which was like so exciting. And when I was doing concert photography and just like more kind of photojournalism stuff, like being able to see my photos like on the cover of the Emerald,
Yeah.
like on campus, like it was just like mind blowing. But yeah, I think the Emerald like really prepared me in a way that yeah, I don't think I would be able to have taken on a lot of the opportunities that I took on during my time at U of O and afterwards, without the stuff that I learned, both in reporting and editing and things like that, but also with as at the role of digital managing editor that I did my senior year. Kind of stepping into that sort of management role was really, really interesting and something that I had never done before. So just having those opportunities really, I think, gave me a lot of experience and just like really opened doors. And also just like, I don't know if I'll ever step into a management role down the line, or like if
Mhm.
that's something that I, want to do, or
Yeah.
somewhere that I see my career trajectory, but like just being able to like take on that role and like have that opportunity, I think was really fulfilling and like something that not everyone gets to do. So
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with
yeah,
those
totally.
bigger roles. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And then at the end of your time at the Emerald, at the end of your bachelor's career over here at the SOJC, you began working at Eugene Weekly, both on like general assignment for them, but then you also helped contribute to their first ever podcast. Could you tell me more about what that experience of helping to create that podcast was like for you? Was that your first experience with audio work?
It wasn't my first experience. I
Mhm.
had interned at Oregon Public Broadcasting, which is where I had worked previously to KEXP here in Seattle. As I think I was a junior in college, I just had a
Mhm.
summer internship with OPB. So that was my first experience with audio. But I had like dabbled a little bit. Like I did a few kind of podcasty things with the Emerald, and then I did some audio things here and there just in the classes that we took in J school.
Mhm.
It was just a really cool opportunity to I don't know, I've always really, really loved audio, in every form. I mean, obviously through music, but also just like as just a media to consume through, podcasts,
Yeah.
audiobooks, like whatever. I think it's just such a really personal medium. I'm very biased towards audio, no shade to print. I love print too. And I worked in print as well for years, but it's different being able to like, hear your sources voice and their inflections and and their accents, like I just really love that. So yeah, I during my time at the weekly and working in print, I was like, let me take some of those skills that I had learned at OPB as an intern and also at the Emerald doing a little bit of audio stuff here and there, and then just try to create something. And so I did that like a lot of the time. It was like when I was done with my day of writing and working on whatever deadline I was working on, I would
Yeah.
just like try to churn out an episode of this podcast, which is really cool. And I just got to basically do whatever I wanted with it, which was a lot of responsibility, but really exciting too. And spent a lot of time talking with my coworkers, like fellow reporters, at the weekly about kind of debriefing stories that they had done and just kind of repackaging it in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something I think so intimate about like you were saying about being able to hear people's
Yeah.
voices, that kind of thing. Was there anything else about audio specifically that kind of, hooked you and like, kept you interested and, led you ultimately to where you are now?
Yeah, I also really love just kind of the production aspect
Yeah,
of audio, just like the way that you can tell stories with audio. Um, that I think you can't really do through print. I think you can, obviously people can paint beautiful pictures with their words in print, but it's just like different when you're like setting a scene with like the background noise and you're like actually kind of being immersed into a scene. So I do really love that production piece of it. And also like it just feels really satisfying to me to kind of like put together a puzzle of like,
yeah.
ambi and like whatever, and kind of weave a story together in a like a tangible way like that.
And this is backtracking a little bit, but I'm curious because you mentioned that you dabbled with some audio stuff in your time at the Emerald as well. Do you have any like specific memories from what those instances were, or like maybe something that
Yeah.
like sparked your interest when you were here?
Yeah. I It was during my time on the arts and culture desk. I
Hmm.
kind of just dabbled in anything that I could,
Yeah.
but I did think I did like a couple kind of like a friend and I know we did try to do like a music podcast like a little bit, and I think we just did like a couple episodes or something. But I did also do a little video too, which also obviously has audio elements to it. But yeah, I mean for the most part my time at least as a reporter at the Emerald was pretty print focused, but it was fun to do those kind of like multimedia offshoots.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a great way to like experiment with the
Yeah,
beginnings of multimedia. Yeah,
totally.
great preparation for the future, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. And now, like, I don't know, jumping back into the present, you've just wrapped up being at OPB for nearly 5 years altogether. And now you're at the point of making a huge career switch. And now just wrapping up your first couple of weeks at the midday show at KEXP Radio in Seattle. How has that transition been for you so far? I know you're still in the process of moving,
Yeah.
and you've been in Oregon for your entire career as well. So I can imagine that this has been quite the switch.
Yeah, totally. I've actually been in Oregon my whole life because
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like wild. Although I'm telling myself, I'm like, it's just right up the road. It's not that far.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really very exciting and just super fun to be doing something so different. But also kind of like I said, like kind of a full circle moment of like music was really the thing that got me interested in journalism in the first place. So it's cool to kind of like come back to that and like come back to something that I'm really passionate about. Um, so that's cool. Like content wise, I'm really excited about that. I think like the biggest kind of switch up, obviously, because not covering news anymore and being in
Right.
kind of music and arts and culture space again. But also just moving from being a reporter into being a producer has been really interesting and like really cool and really also really exciting. Like I really enjoyed reporting, but I had been doing it like I don't even know how many years, like since, I mean, since I graduated from U of O, but also like while I
Hmm.
was in, when I was in
Yeah,
college too. So like I said, I really do enjoy that kind of production element. And also I was like, I kind of wanted to just try something new after doing kind of the same thing for so long. And I also like that producing kind of puts me more in a support role. Like, you know, obviously as a reporter, you have a team and you have an editor and you have like
yeah,
all of that support, but it is like a very much like a solo job. Like, you
totally.
know, at the end of the day, it's like your name is on the byline, you know, like it is your piece of work. So I do like that producing has kind of put me in the backseat a little bit and like made me kind of the person that is supporting the show that I'm on, which is really cool, and it
Yeah,
feels really good, and it feels like really collaborative, which I love.
yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, there's something, I don't know, inherently more like collaborative about audio
Mm-hmm.
work because you are,
Mm-hmm.
there's always interviews happening, you're hearing other people, there's music
Yeah.
playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. And then with having been reporting for nearly like a decade, both between your time in internships at the Emerald and then also at OPB doing higher education reporting, are there any lessons from your doing print work and written work that kind of stand out to you and will inform like your career going forward?
Yeah. I feel like even, you know, as I was a, I don't know, I just felt like there came a time like relatively recently that I realized I was like, oh, I guess I'm not like entry level anymore. You know, like I
Yeah.
guess I'm like firmly like mid career, which seems like very
Mhm.
weird to me, and not accurate because I still feel like I'm learning every day, and like that's like the biggest thing that I really love about journalism. Still, like even
Yeah.
after doing it for so long, it's like you're like no matter how long you've been doing the job, and no matter how much you think you know, or you know, uh as far as like writing a story goes or whatever, or editing or whatever, it's just constantly new challenges and you're constantly learning. um so I think like that's the biggest thing that I've kind of realized is that even though I have been doing this for years, I'm just like every day is a new day, and I feel like I'm still constantly learning and growing as a journalist, and it's just really kind of refreshing. It like it doesn't get
Yeah.
stale, which is nice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Always something new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And then going forward into the new position at KEXP, do you have any like hopes for the future or any like goals that kind of stand out to you as being things that you're working toward in this new role?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not really. I think I've always like I don't know. I'm really bad at being like, what's my like, where do I see myself in
Yeah.
5 years or 10 years? Or, you know, because
Mhm.
like when I was looking back, you know, when I was first starting it at OPB like 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here, you know, 5 years from then, doing something completely different. So I don't have any real big goals or like some like trajectory of like, you know, I want to
Right.
be in X, Y, and Z position.
Mhm.
Um, but I think like the biggest thing I want to be doing is just like enjoying what I'm doing still.
Mhm.
And I think that's like really just been my goal from the start is just like to be happy with the work that I'm creating
Yeah.
and um yeah, and still enjoying it, which, you know, obviously can get really tough as a journalist, with everything
Yeah.
happening in the world and with the workload and stuff, just to like be proud of the things that I'm creating.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kind of like, I don't know, seeing that hard work reflected
Yeah.
is a nice thing to
Yeah.
see. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Nice. That's good to hear. Um, and I've just got one more like big question for you here. What is one piece of advice that you would have given yourself when you were just starting out at the Emerald, or maybe something that you wish you would have known while you were there?
Yeah. Um, I know I said I dabbled in a lot of things, but I honestly
Mhm.
like would have done even more. Like I would have
Yeah.
just tried more things. Because I think I like kind of dipped my toe into like every little thing, but I feel like I wish
Mhm.
I would have like spent more time doing things. Like, you know, I did like a little bit of video. Like I wish I would have done more video and just like
Yeah.
doing um kind of getting out of my comfort zone more. That's like what I wish I would have done more of. I don't know what else. I mean, like I was gonna say just like general advice is just like really making those connections with the people that you're working with, which I definitely did. Like I loved the people that I worked with at the Emerald, and I'm like still in touch with them now. But it's just the people at the Emerald are just like, obviously everyone is so talented and
Yeah.
like amazing, and obviously very nice people too. So it's just like you never know like who you're gonna run into like when you're graduated like 10 years down the line and reconnect. And like I think I am a big introvert, so like I hate the term networking, but like
Yeah.
even just like making friends with people and like and staying up with those friendships, like that has been really valuable for me for sure.
Yeah. Longevity in the sense of like, I don't know, personal relationships
Yeah.
as well as
Mm-hmm.
like career aspects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that I didn't ask you about or anything that you'd like to bring up?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of, other than like I really just appreciate talking about this. And yeah, I just want to reiterate like what an amazing opportunity like working at the Emerald was for me. And I really do genuinely think like I wouldn't be where I am currently if it wasn't for the Emerald. So I am forever indebted
Awesome.
to the Emerald.
Yeah, yeah. As are many of us. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Meerah. I really appreciate having you on the show today.
Yes, likewise.
Awesome. Thank you.